Hi guys, I'm so excited to be back. Oh my gosh, it's been a little while since I've recorded anything. A lot has happened. A lot has happened. Great things with the business. I feel like I've learned so much. We did a ton of shows. We've released a ton of new products, and that's partially why I hadn't posted in quite a little bit of time because we had done so many shows and I was just kind of like caught in the middle of everything. We have quite a few new subscribers and I'm so excited for you guys to be here. If you're new here, hi, my name's Kimberly. So I'm the owner and the creator and everything of Drip from the Crypt products. We mainly specialize in horror and pop culture themed candles and apothecary. And then our signature item is our marbled candles. So yeah, things have been exploding. It's really exciting for us. Whew, I'm out of breath because I'm just excited to be back. So today we're going to keep it pretty short and sweet. I have something very cool to show you guys, something that has really helped scale my business. It's simplified my business and just how I do things. I didn't have this thing before, and now that I do have it, if you're getting into the candle making and apothecary business, highly recommend this item. It has seriously like completely changed the game, really streamlined my process, and I cannot suggest this item enough because it's really not that expensive. It's just amazing. So if you watched some of my earlier videos when I just started candle making, I was using what was called the double boiler method. And that's a pretty standard process for candle making. It's when you have a larger pot, you fill that with water, and then you get a second smaller pot, or yeah, a little stove pot, whatever have you. There's one specifically for candle making. And then you put the wax in the one on the top. So then the water that's in the pan below starts boiling. But since you're using two different pots, it won't burn your wax just because the heat is a little less intense, a little more dispersed. So yeah, if you watch my original video on just like how to make candles in general, it was literally one of my first videos. And when I watch it, I already cringe because I'm like, oh, I feel like I've gotten so much better since then. But I use the double boiler method, very standard. But the double boiler method is awesome when you're starting because you're only making a couple candles. I think when I was doing the double boiler method, I could only make 8 candles at once. And that gets old really, really fast. Of course, when you're just beginning, you have a couple candle scents and you're making a couple and you're only selling a couple here and there. We all start there. That's how we all start. It's okay. But very quickly, as I was doing that, I just realized like it was taking me all day to make 30 candles. It just was not lucrative. It was time consuming. So I started looking into methods on how I could scale my business and how I could make more candles in a shorter amount of time. So yeah, I looked into a lot of different options. So I landed on something that I ended up purchasing and I'm absolutely in love with it. Hands down, completely 110% suggest getting this if you are going to be going into a candle business. But yeah, and of course, everyone's going to have their different needs. This works perfectly for me, but if you want the biggest, the baddest, the most awesome, I highly recommend this tool. So I'm gonna go ahead and show it to you right now. So the product that I went for is the Digiboil. So the Digiboil, yeah, I found it just looking online and yeah, I saw that a lot of different candle makers were using it. So if you want to search for it, honestly, you could just go ahead and Google Digiboil. And so there's a couple different websites that you could buy it from. I actually don't think like the Digiboil website is just like a website. I think you have to buy this through different like companies. There's going to be different retailers that actually sell the item. But the place that I bought mine on was actually morebeer.com. And so a little side note, the Digiboil, I do not believe it is intended for wax products. So I do want to put that out there. This piece of equipment is intended for beer making. So I'm not sure what the process is. I guess technically it's like an electric kettle. I'm looking at my computer right now. But yeah, so it's actually intended for beer makers because I guess you put the beer in there, I guess you boil it up and then that's how it like creates the beer. But it's not just me that uses this product. A lot of candle makers use this Digiboil for candle making because it's just so great. It's so big. You could put so much wax in there and you can adjust the temperature and all that, which I'm about to show you. And I've been using it almost, I want to say for about like 6 or 7 months and I absolutely love it. This Digiboil, if you look right here, the price is only $200 and it's huge. Honestly, you can fit so much wax in there. I think an entire, I could almost fit unmelted because of course, like when you melt your wax, it'll get smaller, it'll, shrink down. But I could put an entire 44-pound box of wax in there, and then once it's melted, I could put even more in there. So I could make up to, theoretically, I could probably make up to like 150 and 200 candles alone with one Digiboiler, and I only have one right now. But for $200, like that's pretty insane, and it's reliable. It's been sturdy. So let's go ahead and take a look at mine. Okay, so here is our Digiboiler. So sleek, so sexy, and that's my little pouring pot. So as you can see, I mean, it's pretty large, so I do keep mine on a counter. I'd say it's about 2.5 feet tall, maybe almost 3 feet. Definitely not 3 feet. So it actually comes not assembled all the way. So when I first received it, it was pretty much just the body, and then I had to like put the handle on up here. I think I had to like put the little nozzle on. It wasn't too bad. It was super easy. It comes with instructions. Yes, I did slap a sticker on here. Okay. So the lid comes off like so. And so as you can see in here, I don't know if you can see that, my wax is currently hardened in there because I was pouring candles the other day, so this hardened. But literally I could fit so much wax in there. I'd say an entire 44-pound box of wax can fit in there. Once it melts a little bit, I could probably put double that amount. Literally you could put so much wax in there. It's amazing. And then it will melt it, of course, which I'm going to show you in a little bit. But so you'll actually just turn it on. And it's going to go ahead and light up like this. So it does go by either Fahrenheit or Celsius. So you will want to go ahead and program it to whatever heat that you want your wax to. Now, I will say, so I use coconut apricot wax. And so the heat that I find that works best for me and my fragrance oils, and this will vary depending on the fragrance oil as well. But I like my wax to get about to 200 degrees Fahrenheit while it's melting, and then I'll pour it and stir in my fragrance oils. So what I will notice is that there will be a disparity between the temperature that it says right here that it's indicating versus what the actual temperature is of the wax on the inside. So the Digiboiler will not tell you what the temperature is on the inside. So it's going to tell you the setting and the temperature that it's set at, and you know what the temperature should be on the inside, but that is all that this is telling you. It's just whatever it's programmed going. So the system is going to be heating up to 188 degrees, but this is not a thermometer on the inside telling you that it's that degrees, if that makes sense. So in other words, there's no thermometer system that I think on the inside that tells you what like your wax temperature is. It's just the setting that is, it's heating up to that degree level, and then you know the system assumes like, okay, this is that degree. But in order to get an accurate read of what temperature your wax is on the inside, you'll want to do the old-fashioned thermometer trick. So what I'll do is actually I will get a thermometer. So this is I just use an old school thermometer. I used to have a laser one, but it broke, so I've just been using an old school thermometer. So I will set my Digiboil to whatever degree I want. And then it will take typically about 1 hour, I find, for it to get to that temperature. So if you're going to be pouring candles for the day, you will want to start a little bit early, get your wax prepared, and turn the melter on as soon as possible. That way you'll allow enough time for it to melt and be the temperature that you want. I will say that this temperature will be different than what is on the inside. So like I was mentioning before, so I will set the Digiboil to 188 degree Fahrenheit. And so I know before I mentioned that I like the temperature to be 200 degrees Fahrenheit for my wax. But 188 on the Digiboil, I find for me, when I check my wax with my temperature or my thermometer, it is 200 degrees. So I do notice that just because you're setting it to a certain degree on the Digiboil does not mean that the internal temperature, the actual temperature of your wax is going to be that way. So always double check when you first get your Digiboil. Just make sure to experiment. If your wax melt point for your wax that you typically go for is like 180, I would set this to like 150, maybe 160. And then once it hits that temperature, go in and just stick your hand in and get a read of what the actual temperature of your wax is. And then just see if it's at that correct temperature. If it's a little low, then you could just go ahead and press the plus sign to get that temperature up a little bit. and then just keep experimenting until you stick your hand in and you get a good temperature that you like. It's very straightforward. It's always the same temperature. I trust it. I always set mine to 188 degrees and I always get a read of like 200 degrees on the inside. So that's the temperature I've decided on. But in the beginning, you will want to experiment with like that temperature. So another thing that I've noticed with the Digiboil, so it's not saying it right now, but I don't know if you saw just a little bit ago, this said E3 and it was flashing. Basically, it was erroring out. That was an error message. Oh, see? Okay, right there. See, E3. So that means error. So that's an error message. And so if you get that message, you don't have to worry. So essentially, since there's not actual beer in here, it's kind of confusing the system because there are sensors inside the Digiboil that tell it if there's any liquid in there. Because if it's on and there's no liquid, then anything that's in there is just going to burn. So since it's wax, it kind of confuses the system to thinking that there's nothing in there. But all you need to do, don't worry, just wait like literally 1 minute and then this is going to stop. And then it's just going to keep boiling and doing its thing. So honestly, I really only get this error message if I literally just started at C. So right now it just went back to it. So it'll probably do that for the first 20 minutes. It'll go on and off until things actually start melting in here. And then once everything starts melting, I literally don't have the issue at all. So it's really not a problem. So I just turned that off now. And then the only other thing that I would really want to touch on is the fact that the nozzle is a little bit short to like the ground or whatever it's sitting on. So as you can see, if you have like a bigger pouring pitcher, you can see how my pouring pitcher is actually like a little bit higher than the nozzle. So, I mean, it's not that bad if I do this, but of course, sometimes if you're pouring so many candles, you're going to get to the top of this. So what I actually did to kind of work around that is I have my Digiboil super close to the ledge right here. So I can pour. That way, I can just, tilt it a little bit and then I'll pour my wax that way. And I really don't have an issue with that. I have seen other creators actually put like a cinder block underneath here or like some books just to raise it up so that they can actually use their your scale, because you're always going to use a scale. So there's like wax on there. I know that's gross. So they'll actually like, keep this on here on the scale. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, you can. And then like pour at the same time. So like you're measuring it that way. I don't have any issues. I'll actually measure my fragrance oil into the pouring pitcher, and then I'll measure out like, how many ounces, 5 ounces of fragrance oil. I'll kind of just like pop it on the scale every couple of seconds, just to see if I'm getting close to like my measurement. And then that's just the way that I do it. So that's the way I work around those things. You can make it easier and lift it up. It's however that you want to do it. This is your process. So whatever is easiest for you. But yeah, that is the Digiboil. Woo! Whew. Okay, guys, that is it. That's it for today's episode. So that's my Digiboiler. Love it, love it, love it. Like I mentioned, there's a couple options out there. But if you are planning on scaling your business, and I know the thing is huge, it's a monster, but honestly, if you're planning on scaling your business and growing, I honestly think for $200, might as well just get the most bang for your buck, because with that Digiboiler, the sky's the limit. Like, you'll never need to upgrade. Like, sure, you may need to buy like a second one eventually when your business is so booming that you need to have double or Digiboilers. Hell yeah, that'll be sweet. But honestly, like, for $200, I think you get the most bang for your buck, and you could just do so much with it. It's going to save you so much time versus like a double boiler system or doing like an Instapot. I think that's what it's called. I don't think it's Instapot. I'm not sure what the exact term is. But it's like this little crock pot candle wax thing, and it doesn't even have like a nozzle. Like, you have to scoop it, and honestly, that's going to be so messy, and it's going to take you so much time. So yeah, if you want to take my advice, love the Digiboiler. Can't say enough about it. I've had mine for a little while now. Have had no issues. Nothing that you can't work around. And to be honest, $200 is, I know it seems like it could be like a lot in the beginning, but when you are eventually starting to scale your business, that thing is going to be a lifesaver, and I can't recommend it enough. So that's my 2 cents on that. So welcome back again. So excited. Expect a couple videos a week from me, at least right now. I have so much to share. I'm going to be jamming these things out. And also, if you have any recommendations or requests on what you want me to go over, feel free to pop them in the comments below. Happy to go over it. And yeah, thank you so much, guys. Again, my name is Kimberly from Drip from the Crypt, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye. Talk to you soon.